back in.
All right, here we are. We are on part 3, season 1, episode 6.
I'm going to clear something up from part 3. After a little further investigation, I was confused because I went to that church with my first wife and my second wife. Thomas was there. Thomas and Kayla were there when I started going back after I got me and Heather started coming back together, so that is my fault.
Once again, you didn't remember something that was pretty obvious.
Hey man, a lot of my life just
A blur.
I do the best I can.
Right.
Right? What I got. So y'all are in the church.
Yes.
Y'all are starting to see some growth,
Yes.
getting heavily involved. Let's see where it goes.
Bring it on.
Yeah, so you know, we're both like serving in the church in different ways. I'm doing a
We've
lot.
been going kind of a while.
Yeah, for
and there
a
was
couple months and stuff.
There was very big,
Lots of growth in a short amount of time.
yes,
in
lot.
a few months.
Oh,
Lots of conviction on our part about how we were living. You know, we're gonna stop cussing. We're gonna stop. Which he never like drank, but even the occasional beer on the weekend or whatever, he was like, "We're done with that." You know, we started to see lots of separation between friends and stuff that were still living certain ways, and
so like real growth, like things that
Yeah.
you need to do when you know, during your walk of sanctification is, you know, get rid of things in your life that, you know, if you got to cut ties with folks that you need to cut ties with, that's what we were doing.
yeah.
And we got a lot of backlash on that, but that wasn't no big deal to me.
No, and you know, and I will say this, like in those moments of growing and you know, you're changing your whole life and stuff, and that separation between friends that you've been friends with your entire life, it's a little bit of a heartbreak, you know, because you can see yourselves growing apart, but you know it's for the better. If that makes
100%
any
correct,
sense,
yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
because we just, and they could see a difference in us, you know, and so
You can
we
usually find out pretty quick who wants to be around when that walk starts.
Oh, absolutely, because we would start noticing that, you know, this group of friends and this group of friends were hanging out,
Because y'all didn't get the
and
phone
we didn't
call.
get the invite.
Yeah.
You know, and we were okay with it, but at the same time, it still kind of sucked because we're like, oh, y'all don't want to be around us anymore because, you know,
Good old Jesus freaks.
yeah, because we quit cussing, we quit, you know, there was no alcohol coming in my house anymore. You know, it wasn't nothing for one of our friends to come over and the wife be sober, husband's got a beer in his hand, and they just walk up in my house and we're hanging out, playing
Mhm.
cards or whatever.
Yeah.
And we just made it a rule, you know, no alcohol in the house. We're not talking like that anymore, you know. And we made it very known that
Mhm.
this is where we were going and steering, you know, in our life. And so there was a period of friendlessness, I guess you would say, because we were kind of just, well, I guess it's just me and you out here now because this is all we got.
Sure didn't want to be my friend.
So we're serving in the church.
If you knew him when he was a kid,
I know him now and don't want to be sitting right here.
I'm done with y'all. So we're serving in the church. I asked to take over nursery. I take over nursery. We start gaining friends here and there. You know, people who at the time we thought were like-minded and stuff like that. We start getting very close to certain people in the church, and we actually were asked to start heading up a young adult class that we would put together on Sunday nights.
it was Sunday nights. So I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, there was tremendous growth where leadership, you know, came upon us, and you know, all the we got our own ministry
Yeah,
kind of started, which was young adults is very hard, by the way, in case y'all
absolutely.
ever want to tackle that one, go right ahead for that. But
So I'm not at the hospital anymore at this point. We're at like 2021ish. 22-ish, kind of. Um, I'm just waitressing at this point. We're just making ends meet. We're doing the thing. We're focusing on God, and just, we started seeing a big shift in our life, So, I start getting really close to this one particular girl in the church. She's younger than me, but she had a child. She was married and stuff. And she kind of gravitated towards me. And at the time, I was very, I don't know about people. And but I kind of let her in. And this is somebody that I would go to the altar and pray over. She would contact me with stuff going on in her marriage. I need advice. I need spiritual advice. I need, So she started seeing me as someone that she could confide in and come to, and stuff like that. I would go get her kid and keep her for her if she had to work, or if she had, something going on or whatever. And so me and her started getting really close, and everything was just kind of cruising along great. Me and him seemed like we were at a point in our marriage that we'd never been at before. We were communicating well. We had went to our first ever marriage conference together. That was wonderful. We're doing all the things, that you're supposed to do. And the girls are in church. They love it. We're there every time the doors are open, And life seemed great. And then something shifted. And I'm continuing to dive really deep into my Bible. I'm journaling. I'm spending every free moment I have, studying the Bible, doing all the things. And Thomas at the time had started a new job that required a lot from him, physically, time-wise, mentally, or whatever. He quit at the fire department, and he started working at the steel mill. So he was gone a lot. And, y'all know, y'all had family and friends work at the steel mill. Y'all know how strenuous that schedule is and stuff like that. So,
but the money was good.
the money was good. But I've always been a person, I will live in a cardboard box and be happy rather than be rich and miserable.
Yeah.
And so he starts at the steel mill, and he had his long break. We were at some family's house, and my sister-in-law comes up to me and pulls me in the bathroom and tells me that my husband has been cheating on me.
What year is this?
This is about 20.
This is 20. What year is it now?
Let me see.
Mm-hmm.
This was 23.
Yeah, 23. That's all right.
So
Go ahead.
Thomas's sister?
No, it's actually his brother's
Wife.
now, but it was
Okay.
her. It was his.
Tracking. I should.
So, in my head, I'm like, there's no way. When has he had time? I'm trying in my head to justify this not being true. She's showing me text messages. She's telling me the girl's name. She's laying it all out there for me. It is there, black and white. It is what it is. So I don't let him know that I know anything. And we go home, and I can't hold it anymore. And so I just flat out asked him, are you doing A, B, and C with this person? And it was like a deer in headlights. He didn't, at first he kind of tried to deny it. He kind of tried to twist it to make it seem like it wasn't what it was, kind of thing. And but eventually I laid out all what I had, and by that point there's literally Stevie Wonder could see what you were doing.
Yeah.
Okay. And so I remember the first thing out of his mouth was, "I guess you want to divorce me now." So then I start thinking, did you do this because you want a divorce and you're just too chicken crap to tell me that now because of year 7? You know? Like, from year 7 up until this point, like this point right now in my life, it's like a bad infomercial. Like, but wait, there's more.
Yeah.
You know? And I'm just like, dead gum. Like, what else? What else are you gonna do to me? You know what I'm saying? So I tell him, I'm like,
She
I don't
didn't divorce
know.
me, by the way.
I didn't, clearly.
Yes. Glad you cleared that up.
Okay.
I didn't know what I wanted to do because I'm like, how do you come back from this? Because this one was physical
That's
infidelity.
100%. 100%.
I mean, yeah. You know,
I mean, all of it. I guess technically all of it's
No,
100%.
yeah,
I mean,
right.
Communication outside of marriage is,
Right.
yeah.
but that physical covenant had been broken.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. So then I go and also like a year and a half prior, 2 or 3 years prior to this, I had weight loss surgery. So I had dropped a ton of weight in a very short amount of time, and so I was very way down here self-esteem wise. And so this on top of that was just like my worth was gone.
I was about to say, you're blaming yourself at this point.
Absolutely. Because I'm thinking she has something that I do not, and I can't make him see my value.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, of course he apologized, he did all the things, but I still was so hurt.
Did you know the depth of it at this moment? You said you had all the details, and you was talking about both
I knew that there had been an occurrence with her,
Uh-huh.
but there was more waiting on me that I had not
Yeah.
found out yet.
Gotcha.
So, I guess we rock on about a month or so, and I start trying to talk myself into forgiving him. We're going to rebuild trust. We're going to do all the things. And a friend of mine, her and her husband were actually going through a divorce, and she messages me just venting more or less, and she's telling me these things, and she says something that I'm like, I wonder if this other woman, not the one that I'd caught him with, had ever done anything. Because she caught her husband with this other woman that I had grown very close to in the church, the one I was talking about prior.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, something in my gut just told me, ask the question. So I messaged the friend at the time, and I told her I was giving her one shot to be as honest with me as she could possibly muster up. Has anything ever happened between you and my husband? And she tells me straight up, yes, multiple times. It's been going on for this long. So then I go and I reveal this other truth that I have now found out to him. And at this point, there's no saving this, I feel like. Like, what else am I going to continue to dig up? And so I'm just devastated, And in my head, I'm like, do I divorce him? Do I not divorce him?
You can't put into words the feelings
No.
that she was having during this time. Like, you can try all you want to, but there's nothing you can say that's going to actually put that person to understand the feelings that you feel during that time.
Yeah.
I wanted to plug that in there and say that.
And in the meantime, I've kicked him out of the bedroom, but we're still having to be cordial enough in front of the kids, because our kids at this point are old enough to know, especially Lillian, something's not right with Mama and Dad. But we never wanted them.
I still don't think they know.
The littles, I don't think at all know. I think Lillian knows that we went through something, but she doesn't know what. Does that make sense?
And there'll be a time and place for that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And
If she subscribed to this podcast, you better make sure she don't watch this episode.
Yeah.
I don't think she is.
no. So, my whole world is just rocked. And I remember sitting down and asking him, is there anything else that I need to know? Now is your time to shine. Because if I find it out from somebody else, I will divorce you. And he just lays it out on the line. And pretty much for almost 10 years, I had been lied to over and over and over. And he was just a really good liar. And he was really good at covering it up and making it seem like nothing was happening.
So what, in those moments where you was hiding and you finally put it all there, what made you want to go ahead and just put it all out there in that moment? Was it a moment of, I know that I'm done right here, or was it just, I'm caught now?
It could be it's a mixture of a lot of things. So it's not that I was perfect by any means. And it's got to do with there was a lot of conviction that went in with all this. But there's a lot of things that led and drove to the things that would happen. And I did not realize the issue that I was having until after all this went through. And we'll get to that in a minute, but like, it was crazy to me in my brain to sit here and tell you that there's a such thing as a sexual addiction.
Yeah.
Like, that don't make no sense to me. I thought, well, that's every man on earth, right? But no, there is. Like, there's no reason that I can tell you why I done what I did that would justify anything that I did, that would make any sense other than that's what it was. And that's crazy to even say that out loud, but that's the truth. Like, so to answer your question, there was a lot of conviction, because the growth was real, but I'm human, so, but there was also a lot of pride there. And there's the destruction before pride before destruction, and there was no little plug-in I was going to put in during this whole entire time. I was, realistically, to be honest with you, I was way too young and the new growth and new sanctification in my life to even put in any type of leadership type of position. Like, there should be, not saying that anybody is at fault for doing what they did and what title they gave me, if you will, but looking at it now, looking backwards, like, there's no, because all that did, and that's tough to say, is not necessarily fuel it, but it added an attraction to it. You understand what I'm saying when I say that?
Yeah, I got you.
So when you get that attraction, and then you also have the issues that I was dealing with that I didn't even know was a realistic thing, not really, it was just a constant failure, that I was dealing with during this time after COVID. So, of course, way back, the addiction, of course, the porn addiction and the sexual addiction. That's for real. That's tough.
And I'll back up a little bit. I always wondered if she had something for him, because I would see little moments where she would seem very clingy towards him, but then she would almost turn it around and cling to me also. So I would, in my brain, justify it as she just loves us as a unit. And in that time frame, also, her and her husband, they didn't have a good relationship. So him being, I guess, just the person he is, just the all-in, I'm here kind of person, that drew her into him, I guess. And like I said, I'm not justifying anything that him or her did. It's wrong on both sides. But
I mean, it's the realism of
Right.
what
yeah,
actually happened,
absolutely. And so, and then prior to me asking him, is there anything else I need to know? Of course, I go digging myself, just trying to find out, because I thought, you ain't gonna lie to me again. So even if you say no, I will say, okay, well then what's this? So I end up getting on our credit card app, and we had like 3 separate credit cards at the time, and every one of them were maxed out. And I did not know how much debt we had accumulated because he always kept up with that. So I'm thinking, why are these so maxed out? His addiction to porn and that physical and sexual desire constantly had gotten him into, I'm going to spend money on it. So he's subscribing to websites and paying for specific women on the internet and, you know, stuff like that. And I was completely ignorant to all of this. But looking back, I can see that is also what almost crippled our sex life and our intimacy, because there were all these fantasies and desires and stuff that are being shown on the internet that are
Fairy
not
tale.
realistic in real life. And that also made me feel I'm not good enough in that area too, you
Right.
know? So on top of all that, he confesses other things to me. The rumors from Ready Made family back in the day, they were true. We're just like, I mean, I'm bombarded with lots of information that I was not ready for. And I can remember sitting there going, I am an idiot. You know, because I'm walking around thinking everything's cool, everything's great and fine, and my husband's doing all this stuff behind my back, and now I feel just dumb, you know. So, of course, I go and I seek guidance from our pastor and stuff, and he tells me, you have every right to do what you know you can do as far as divorcing him. He said, because that covenant has been broken. It's biblical. It's right there, black and white. You will not be frowned upon in God's eyes if you divorce him. And in that moment, I remember thinking, but I don't want a divorce. I just want my husband back. I just want my life back. You know, I want the guy that God gave me, you know. But I also remember feeling peace about my decision, because I knew I was going to be ridiculed. I knew I was going to be like, man, you're dumb for still staying after everything that he's done to you. But I was okay with that, because I remember laying in bed one night, and I just remember asking God, why? You know, I've done all the things. I'm a good wife. I'm a good person. I pour into my husband and my kids, and I try to do the right thing. Why is this happening? And I remember God saying to me, I'm still here. And it was in that moment I remember I opened my Bible up, and I have a study Bible, and it it'll give you a verse, and then it'll give like just study notes, and some pages are nothing but study notes. And I remember reading something about God made the Israelites wander in the wilderness for 40 years, but he still gave to them. They never went hungry. Their sandals never wore out. They still had clothes on their back. You know, he could have taken everything and just left them to die. But he didn't. But he did strip them of everything that they thought they had to have for them to see that they still needed him. And I thought, okay, I don't understand. Why am I the one being stripped? He's the one messing up. And I didn't understand any of it. And I thought, there's no coming back from this. None. I'll never be able to let him walk out the door and wonder where he's going. Is he lying to me? Can I believe anything? If he told me the sky was blue, I'd say, you're a liar. Even if I was looking at it. And I remember praying about it, and I remember God saying, just give it to me and quit worrying about it. And I'm thinking, how do you not worry about your whole marriage being one big lie? You know? And so that's what I did. And that was the hardest. It was almost like somebody ripping my child from my arms. Like, I thought, no, I'm going to fix this. I'm going to, you know, we're going to fix this, or I'm going to throw it in the garbage. And so we talked, and
This was not an overnight
no, absolutely not.
decision-making
This is
process.
weeks
This is
and weeks.
like this went on for a while.
Yeah.
Clearly, I didn't want a divorce, you know, and I made that very known. And we were separated, but in the house,
Yeah.
still separated. You know, I slept in a twin bed for a long time. But I'd done things. We both seek counsel, and I was 100% against everything up to this point
Yeah.
of any type of marriage counseling. I will also say that marriage, even if you have a great marriage counseling is the best
Absolutely.
thing that you can do for your marriage.
Absolutely.
Like, it is, it's insane how having a mediator that is not a friend, that doesn't choose sides, how helpful that is in just any situation, just
Yeah.
even if it's good or bad. But anyway,
And also, you say that are not friends in these moments, you know, while we're going through all this, and you know, we're in this season of life. This set of friends that we had at this time were completely opposite from our old set of friends that would have been, you know, you're dumb for staying, you need to leave him, blah, 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 blah. The set of friends I had in that moment, and same goes for him, surrounded both of us with love and accountability, and we're here for y'all. And that, I think, was a huge help in helping us decide and navigate, and, you know, because anybody, I mean, it's easy to just leave.
Yep.
That's the easy thing, you know.
we didn't stop going to church.
No, we
You know,
still,
we seek every counsel there was.
absolutely.
You know, even when we wasn't communicating with each other, like, I was still seeking counsel. Like, we was out late at his house, me and him having a conversation on the back porch. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I mean the mosquitoes quit biting, so it was late.
Well, I mean, we was out a while.
I'm gonna butt in if that's okay with
Yeah,
y'all.
go ahead.
Were you going to church there when all this happened?
Yes, I had just
I was gonna
started
say, I
going.
think you had just
So
started.
I remember the night, the Wednesday night. I remember the Wednesday night that I didn't know anything about this shit. Nobody had told me. I didn't have this knowledge. I remember the altar that night. sat back and we had a huge altar call, and obviously I know something's wrong because Kayla's at the altar over here, Thomas is at the altar but away from Kayla. Obviously something's wrong, and I remember sitting back in my seat, and I could feel it, and for whatever reason my wife was not in service for that, and I remember telling my wife, I was like, hey, that's one of the heaviest services I've ever been in my life. As far as feeling, emotion, there was somebody else that was at the altar that was dealing with some serious. Maybe it was Carrie Land back then. Maybe that was when she was dealing with her health thing. I don't remember. Somebody was dealing with some serious health. And I was like, just heavy service I've ever been in. I was like, and I said, I told my wife then, because I go home and talk to my wife about stuff like everybody else. I was like, Thomas and Kayla. I was like, something's happened. I was like, I'm not gonna say it's a cheating situation. I was like, but it really felt like a cheating situation. I wouldn't talk like that to anybody, but this is my wife. This is
That's what we're gonna go home and do.
I'm gonna talk to my wife about it. I'm just gonna tell you. You tell me something, it's my wife's knowledge too.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it might have been that Wednesday night. If it wasn't that Wednesday night, it was that week that Thomas called me and wanted to come talk, and we sat on our back porch then. And I want to say this because a lot of people are going to say this, and this is what I would have said at one point in my life. The only reason he's so upset now is because he got caught, or and Thomas came to my back porch and we talked about it, and I had no way, shape, form, or fashion. I told him, I was like, listen, I was like, you got to keep doing what you're doing, going after God, doing this thing the way you're doing it. And I was like, but if your wife leaves you, you have to be okay with that because you earned it. That was the truth.
Sorry to stop you there. I also think that in those moments that the guy takes that easy way out because they don't want to accept the fact that they're the one that messed up sometimes. I can't speak from a woman's standpoint, but I feel like from a guy's standpoint, well, I'm not going to accept that fact. I'm just going to go ahead and go.
Oh, absolutely. And I say all that to say I don't want anybody to ever think, because people will throw this in your face all the time, he's trying to blame it on his porn addiction or his sex addiction. He never blamed what he did to Kayla on any of that stuff.
Right.
But if you want the man to give you a reason and you want him to really think about it, that stuff comes into play.
Yeah.
He's never once said it's because of that I did what I did. No, it's not doing that. It's just saying, I realize now, and this probably come after the counseling and stuff like that, where you can really say it all stemmed from this. I can look back on my life all the way to when I was 14 or when you were young and you started developing that porn addiction, how unhealthy it made your sex life and all these things that takes over through the years. It never condones what you do, but it does play a huge role in how your mind thinks about it. But even that night, Thomas never tried to take back what he did. He never tried to make light of what he did to Kayla. And he knew that she had every right to make her own decision. And I'm going to say this too. This was one of the main reasons we wanted to have y'all on. I love Thomas and Kayla to death. Me and Thomas have been friends now since he didn't want to be my friend at first. we got past all that, and we've been friends for years now. And this is no offense to you, but I think when we talked about this, Kayla's story was one of the main things we wanted, because right now we see so many marriages, and this is not taking a shot at anybody in particular.
Yeah.
It's just very rarely do you see somebody stay when they have absolutely no reason to. And I remember people in our church, and I'm not going to name any names, and I'm sure you had people tell you to your face.
Oh yeah.
How stupid you were for staying.
Absolutely.
It's one of the bravest things I have seen somebody do in person, to stay after what you went through. I want you to know that. That's why we wanted to have you on, because instead of taking that easy road, you decided to And it's not a stand by your man situation. You did it. You went to prayer. This is where God led you, and you obeyed.
Yeah.
You got anything you want to add, Devin?
In that, like you said, there's no shot at nothing, because I mean we went through a period of time in our marriage. It wasn't the same thing, but there's something about this moment, and me and him, and we had some discussions with other guys as well. We've got to get to a point where we understand that this isn't just I'm gonna go sign a paper.
Yeah.
This is that covenant that you made before God and whoever else in those moments. And Justin was right. You had every reason biblically wise to go.
Yeah.
And the fact that you knew you said I didn't want to do that. I want my husband back. I want what I know God's given me. Sometimes when we get in those spots where we're just like, hey, we always say we need him when it's worse, but you was steadily going and you couldn't figure out why, but you chose to stay. What I say from all that is I haven't known him as long as you have, but from the jump, I already seen a servant heart in Thomas, and you already knew what you was getting from him as a husband and father. That's what you wanted.
Yeah.
You wanted that, what he's giving all to everything else, because I've noticed he doesn't do nothing halfway.
Not at all.
But what you was wanting was what he was doing for everything else, 100%.
Yeah.
Why can't I get that 100%? But that was your mindset. But you never gave up, and you continued to roll on. And as a man's standpoint, sometimes that easy way out, it doesn't justify it. But as a man, we just get all crossed up in our emotions. Well, we're just going to go. We're going to go do our own thing. And I feel like coming from this to see where you guys are now, I don't know what I would do without you on Wednesday nights. I don't know what I would do without you when I've said this just nearly everybody that's been on here so far, by my kids. And to see that you never give up is another reason that if you'll let God have it, he's going to take care of it.
Absolutely.
Just a living testimony of y'all at this point, I feel like I can't answer for your marriage. I feel like it's maybe the best it's ever been at this point. And
I will say the craziest thing to say about all this, that was the best thing that ever happened to our marriage.
yeah.
Yeah.
As
I know
crazy as
how
that sounds to
warped
say.
and weird that sounds, because
Yeah.
you're thinking, he did all these things and, all whatever. But honestly, once we completely let God take full control of the whole situation and our marriage, it really is the best it's ever been. We have no problem whatsoever communicating, because at this point you're thinking, we've literally been through the trenches, and there's nothing he can tell me, I can tell him, as far as feelings, emotional, hey, you hurt my feelings because you said this. That's baby stuff.
Yeah.
Compared to what we've been through and worked through. And so, and we're not perfect by any means. We still disagree. We still have moments where, I love you, but I don't like you right now, and that's okay. But I will say, I've had lots of people in my life since we went through what we went through, go through similar things, and they'll flat out look at me and go, I don't know how you did this because I can't. And I'll flat out tell them, I didn't. God took us through that navigated that. You can't get through this.
That's right.
You have to let him have it.
Mm-hmm.
You have to. And I've even told them, and I know they probably think, like, you were insane. But the first thing that I usually tell them is, pray for your husband.
Mm-hmm.
And they're thinking, I'm not praying for him, not after he did what he did to me.
Yeah.
But it's a hard issue for him that he's got to overcome, but he can't overcome that by himself. He can't overcome it with just you. He's got to overcome it with God, and you can't stop praying for him. You can't stop praying for yourself. You can't stop praying for your marriage. You can't stop going to God just because you think, well, it's over because A, B, and C happened.
Yeah.
Will it be easy? Absolutely not. This was one of the hardest things in my life that I've ever done.
Yeah, I just wanted to note it on that part that this was not an easy journey.
Yeah.
I mean, especially for her. I mean, even on my end, even though you could see it as I just sat back and let everything happen. But it was, it was an emotional ride for me too on a lot of things. Not to take anything away from her end of anything at all, but even on the man side, even the man side that actually did the wrong, there is some emotional trauma that he goes through during this, especially like when he says, I'm not done. I don't want a divorce. I know, I messed up or whatever, but I want to work through this as well. But
Yeah.
It wasn't easy for either one of us.
No.
Counseling.
We
There's
did
a lot of
counseling.
counseling.
So that's what I was about to ask from your side and then her side to kind of put a bow on this. Struggling marriage standpoint, if somebody's watching from a man's standpoint first, where do we go? I know we're seeking God through this, and when that's what we're going to tell people first and foremost. If you're not giving to God, you're not doing it right. From a guy's standpoint, how do you recover from what's happened? How do you get through this?
I mean, other than the obvious, man, godly counsel. We met separately together a few times with shout out to Opie and
Miss K.
and Miss K. They were our counselors there at Tupelo. They're free.
Yeah.
Don't cost you a dime. Everything they do is
Donation
nonprofit,
based. Yeah.
so they also have for people who struggle with pornography or sex addiction and all that stuff, they have a group that meets every Tuesday night, and just a group of men usually, and they talk about this stuff. It's crazy, man. What they're doing in Tupelo is pretty amazing. But godly counsel, and I tell you, they gave us a book.
Power of the Praying Wife and Power of the Praying
I think it's
Husband.
an older book, and it's a great thing. I got one that's The Power of a Praying Husband, and then The Power of a Praying Wife. Shout out! I will say this: you never finished hers, but I did mine. Anyway, and the book by itself changed my whole perspective of how to be a husband. Like, I actually want to go back and read it again because that's how good it is. But and I may actually start doing that. But just godly counsel. Like, I mean, I went to my pastor, and not to take away nothing from him, and he led me and done all the things that he was supposed to do. But it's hard to get on the man side of stuff. It's hard to find somebody, not necessarily to be on your side, because I wasn't looking for that. Because when you're in the wrong, it is hard to find somebody to say it's okay. And so, it was difficult. It was a difficult ride for sure on my end, but man, it was a lot. It was a lot. It was a hard journey, and it's still. I mean, it has its moments sometimes. Like, we're not gonna sit here and say that it's 100% like, yay, let's throw confetti up and it's all done and over with, because she sometimes struggles with some things that
Yeah.
may old thoughts and old memories and stuff like that. But it's not often. Maybe
No,
once,
they
twice
get
a year,
fewer
maybe.
and far between, but emotional trauma is what it is. You
Yeah.
know, it's one of those things that's kind of burned and branded into the back of your mind as much as you try to band-aid it and cover it up or whatever.
You're going to take a lot of hurt during this journey. For anybody listening that wants to, like, man, these people done it, I think we can too.
Oh,
I
absolutely,
just
you
want
can.
I want to tell them, like, you're going to catch a lot of backlash. Like, even, I mean, I'll say it, like, we got put on the back burner.
Yeah.
Like, in our church, like, we got left out of a lot of things just because Is it fair to me? Absolutely, because I did wrong, but it wasn't to her.
Mhm.
But and she may still struggle with that, but I get it.
Yeah.
Like I understand it. Like you need that time for growth.
Sure.
It's been 3 years. 3 years is a long time, but it
Mhm.
ain't forever.
Right.
But
Well, growth and just renewal and just genuine accountability and stuff like that. But
now I'm not saying like I'm by any means any type of leadership or anything now in the church. I mean, don't get me wrong, but it's like you know it was
no, but we had to step back from a lot so that God could deal
Sure.
with what was going on in our lives, because you can't help anyone spiritually, you can't pour into anyone spiritually or anything when your spiritual life is in the garbage.
Yeah.
Or you're living a facade or whatever. But I will say that it's 100% doable as far as fixing your marriage. But you both have to be 1,000% in on fixing it. There's no bringing up the past. There's no hanging anything over anybody's head. Like, you have to literally start fresh, brand new, and vow to do that and commit to that. Because if you continue to bring up the past, there's just going to be little things of decay everywhere. Nothing's going to get any better. It'll get band-aided,
Yeah.
but you have to think of it as a constantly bleeding wound. You want to cauterize it. You don't want to band-aid it.
Yeah.
And I will say another thing, like, we decided to, him more so than me, but no social media. He got completely on his own. Like, I didn't ask him to do anything, because
Mhm.
all I said to him was, if we're going to fix this, prove it.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't going to prompt him to do anything, because at that point in our marriage, I was tired.
Same old saying, you give the devil an inch, he'll take a mile. So if
Absolutely.
you open the
well,
door.
that's a fact. I mean, and like she said, she didn't ask me like, well, if we're gonna do this, you need to get rid
Yeah,
of all
you
your
need to do
socials.
this,
You
A,
need
B,
to
and
do this.
C.
I already done it.
Yeah.
It's already done
Mhm.
because I knew that was my weakness.
Right.
And I knew like I just now got TikTok back 3 or 4 months ago, and
Yeah.
that's only because, and it's not even under my name.
Right.
Like, it's under my gaming, under my gaming thing that we do, so and that's the only reason why I got it, is to build that platform is through there. I don't have anything,
Yeah.
and it's, and literally the best thing I ever did.
Yeah.
I don't care nothing about this.
Yeah.
This means nothing to me. I can leave the house and go to work for a week, and
Yeah.
I don't have to have this. And before, it was a crutch.
Well, and that goes.
I had to have it.
That goes back to what you said. You both have to be in,
Absolutely.
and that for you, if you, not saying that you would have, but you knew it was your crutch. If you wouldn't have got rid of, you wasn't 1,000% in at that
100%,
point.
yeah.
So, I knew what we wanted to do as far as getting y'all on here. And it's not just a people standpoint we know, but it has become so normal. I'm going to call a percent out here just because I think I saw it right, and I'm going to be very cautious on this. There's 60% in Mississippi, I think was the number I've seen, of single moms now
Mhm.
that have once was married and now they're divorced. 60% in the state of Mississippi. And in that, this is a world thing that needs to be heard. A marriage isn't just that piece of paper you sign.
Yeah.
It's that bond and it's that covenant between you and the person you decide to do it with. Well, sometimes it doesn't work, I know, but in this moment, y'all showed that it can work if you'll do it God's way, not your way.
Absolutely.
Because in your standpoint, you didn't want to, but most standpoint in that, it's, I got to get up out of here.
Yeah.
This is not going to get any better. Something tells me that you just really didn't have that mindset. You didn't want to have that mindset. I mean,
No.
there was a time when early in y'all's marriage when you had it, but you knew who you wanted to be with. So, y'all got anything that y'all want to go through?
Absolutely. Dang it, just I will say that we're not perfect by any means.
No.
Our marriage is not perfect. It's not not that we're struggling, but we agreed to come on here because we know that this happened for a reason. We are available for. I ain't gonna say marriage counseling because that's not, there's professionals for that, but if we can just help one marriage, like we have succeeded in, than what God has put us through, through this whole entire thing. So,
Well, just being
We're available.
encouraging
Yeah.
to couples as couples, because a
Mhm.
lot of times it's either, well, you're on his side or her side, and
it's a lot of encouragement too, but we do have advice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not, and I say that we're not counseling, but I mean we can a little bit because of what we've been through. Not everybody's situation is different for sure, but man, there's a list of things that I can give you as a man to man. This is what you need to be doing in your marriage. This is what you need to be doing in your marriage. I can tell you those things, and it's something that I've recently learned over the past 3 years. Not because I'm a professional at
Yeah.
it, it's because I know we know what will work in your marriage.
Yeah.
We know, and it's easy. As crazy as that sounds, it's easy, but it takes work. It's a
Yeah.
lot of work, like the hardest work that you've ever done than you can imagine. It can be done for sure, and we're available. 100%. We're not going. If you come to us, we're not going to We're not going to air out your dirty laundry. Ain't none of that going to ever happen. But, we would like to help people for sure. And I'm excited to know what God has in store for us, because sometimes He takes you through a season of life where He strips you down from everything that you have and builds you from something. So we're not done. There's about 100% we're not done with whatever ministry that He puts us through or whatever path that He leads us on. Like, I cannot wait, but I can wait because I know what's coming. So
no, I just want our story to try to help somebody, or woman, man, couple together. I just want them to know that if you genuinely do give it to God, he really can fix it and make it better than it ever was. Like, it doesn't have to be done. You don't have to be done.
Yeah.
And like I said, it is not easy. I'm not fixing to sugarcoat it and go, oh, you just give it to God and everything's going to be great. You're just going to wake up one day and everything's going to be great. And it's not true, because like he said, like 3 years later, there's still some days where memories really suck,
Yeah.
But you just got to, dive a little deeper and ask God to help you, rebuke those memories, because it's Satan trying to creep back in and trying to go, oh, you remember what he did?
Yeah.
You remember this? But you don't have to give him that leverage on you
Yeah.
or your marriage.
I could, like I said a while ago, I could say 100,000 different things for y'all as far as my life. I think when I started really getting involved in ministry, y'all were really one of the first two that was kind of been with y'all. Have actually been with me from the jump, as far as I can remember, as far as back as I can recall. And kids wise, they enjoy y'all. So for me and my side of the ministry, I don't have the words to really say thank y'all for letting God work. Thank y'all for being obedient. You just because you could have quit then too, just as well as she could have quit. It was there to be done, and I'm thankful for y'all. I know our church is thankful for y'all in several different aspects. Do you have anything?
now say something good about us.
I can't stand they've been around pretty much since I've been going to the church the second time. Which is the time where I really started to get deep and getting involved in looking before this happened. I never seen it coming. I guess that's why that Wednesday night was such a shock to me. Kayla, what you did, I don't know that you put it at miracle status, but it's pretty close.
Yeah.
The fact that you were, that you really exemplified when we tell people all the time to leave it at the altar and leave it at the feet of Jesus and quit picking it up.
Yeah.
You did it. So many people don't, but you literally left it at his feet and quit picking it up. Thomas, as far as you go, your personality hasn't changed a bit, but the way that you started being more, I can say this for sure, the way you started being more conscious about the way that you treated your wife and the way that you were doing things and the way that you were going about things was a 180 from where you were at before that happened. You have made as much an effort as a man can make when he knows he was in the wrong, and I commend you for that. There's not a doubt in my mind that it's not 100% genuine. Like Devin said, can I tell everybody that's watching this 100% that y'all's marriage is in a better place? And I know that y'all said it too, but I truly believe it because I've watched both sides of it. And I commend you both for that. And I hope that if somebody's watching this, they, if y'all do need to talk to them, of course, we've gotten messages since we've started this, but if y'all need to get in touch with them, you can find them on social media. But if you want to reach out to us and we can put you in touch with them, we don't mind. Shoot us a message. We can put you in touch with either one of them that you want us to, and you can pick their brains about anything in the situation. They would love to take that time to talk to you. But other than that, that's all I got. Devin, if you're ready to sign us out of here.
All right. Close us out. Father God, we thank you. We thank you for another day, God. We thank you for what this podcast can do, God. It's no glory to us, but all glory to you, God. God, I thank you for continuously working, God. When we just lay it at the feet of Jesus, God, we know that it's just going to be completely taken care of. God, I ask that you continue to shed light on them through their journey, God, and just continue to work through them as we know that you will, Lord. It's in your wonderful name we pray. Amen.
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 See y'all.